Right now is the start of the podcast.
Okay. We just did like 3 bits, and now you've decided to start the podcast.
Well, first bit you were out of frame. So.
Yeah. Well, can you
Can I start the podcast? Yeah, this is the Arcane Lounge podcast. Welcome back. Logan is not here anymore. It's just me and Jacob.
We killed him in the head.
Yeah, we went over to his apartment and chopped down all of his trees and let them fall into his apartment.
Well, he doesn't have any anymore.
But that's right. I forgot. They beat us to it.
Because we cut them all down.
Yeah.
And caused a lot of damage to the property over there.
Yeah, we're being sued by the property company.
We're being sued by the government. They want us to go to jail.
Well, who doesn't?
Me? I don't want to do that. It doesn't sound like a good time, personally. I would have to say.
My aunt went to prison. She was fine.
She did?
Yeah.
Do you want to? You don't have to talk about more of that. I just got really interested. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But, that's also your aunt, and you don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well.
Don't sell drugs, and you won't go to prison.
I like your sweater.
Thank you.
It's new. It came today.
Yesterday, yeah.
And she's been wanting to get it all week because all I've been hearing is, I want my grandma sweater to come in. And that's what it is. It's a grandma sweater.
It is a grandma sweater with like an emo shirt underneath. That is my aesthetic. Emo grandma.
Emo gay grandma.
Emo gay, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go.
I really got into like the idea of thrifting right before like the pandemic hit. Like Jacob's sister really likes to thrift, and I was like, I want to get in on that. It's good for you're not buying clothes. You're just taking old ladies' clothes because that's what's mostly at thrift shops nowadays. And I really got into that. Yeah, Emma really likes to thrift. Speaking
of Emma, my sister, she started I'm going to tweet about it so you guys probably will see it, but she started a Etsy store she does stitch paintings, and she got me a few of them for Christmas, and they're like Lord of the Rings, and they're really cool. And if you want to go check it out, there's some really cool stuff she has up there. There's my favorite one is this one of it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, it's Zuko Nang.
It's Zuko Nang when they do the fire thing. I don't remember.
It's the dragon dance.
that. And it's them. It's their outline stitched, but the background is painted to look like the flames. Yeah, and it's so pretty. It's really cool. Sick nasty. Yeah. So go check out what's her Etsy name? Broke Stitch.
Broke Stitch
on
art.
Etsy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or just go find my tweet and go click on that link.
Yeah, go give
my
her
sister
some money.
That's what she wanted to call it. She just wanted to call it "Give Me Money."
Oh. Yeah, I liked Stitch Bitch. Your mom came up with that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird for my mom to come up with, but So, what would you do if Steve Buscemi... We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about this at 1 in the morning.
Steve Buscemi, instead of breaking into your house and staring at you while you're asleep,
right?
Instead, you woke up and it was the morning, and he was sitting in the corner of the room, just sitting there.
First, I would ask why he moved my lamp, because there's a lamp in the corner of our room.
No, he didn't move it.
Is he sitting on the lamp?
He's using it to prop himself up. He's like,
okay, first of all, Mr. Buscemi, please do not break my lamp. Also, why are you in my house?
And then he says, I'm fucking Steve Buscemi.
I understand that, sir. Why are you in my home? I know who you are. You're quite famous.
You would get up and have this much retention?
Yes.
You would just like sit up and just be like, Steve Buscemi, it is you.
Yes.
What are you doing here in my home? You would be like, oh, fuck, is that Steve Buscemi?
That would be my initial thought was, who's in my house? Is that Steve Buscemi?
And then he says, I'm fucking Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, but I had just had the thought of realization that is Steve Buscemi, so I wouldn't. Is
that less scary than waking up in the middle of the night with him standing over you?
Yes.
But this has the foreknowledge that he was sitting in the corner of your room the entire night.
That is pretty spook. Well, what if he came in like 15 minutes ago? I don't know.
He says, I was here all night. You snore really loud. That's not what Steve Buscemi sounds like at all.
I also don't snore. You snore. He would mistake your snoring for my snoring. Are you in the house?
Yeah, I'm still asleep.
Oh, I wake you up. You're here now.
I am dead. Steve Buscemi has killed me.
Shit. Okay, am I being held ransom by Steve Buscemi?
No, he's just sitting there.
Can I leave? Like if I get up.
He says, yeah, I mean, he just lets it go.
And then I leave.
You just leave forever?
Yeah.
That encounter is done, and you just leave. All right. Well, you know what, Spencer? I gotta say, if Steve Buscemi ever came into our house and killed me, and I would be very concerned about what you would do next.
How do you want to be buried? Like if you're dead, what do you want?
Well, you don't have my goddamn body anymore.
No,
Steve Buscemi
I would come back for it.
No, you left me behind, Spencer.
No, I just said I left the room.
Yeah, with my body in there. With Steve. Steve's gonna do whatever he wants with my corpse.
Okay.
Sorry. You've made this choice. You can't quick save and go back.
All right.
How dare you?
Just gonna let him do whatever he wants to.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Why is Steve Buscemi kind of scary looking?
It's the eyes, I think. He also has like a movie gang, right? Isn't he in like Adam Sandler's gang?
What?
Yeah. Adam Sandler has like a gang of people that he puts in all of his movies. Isn't Steve Buscemi one of them?
No. Wait.
No?
I don't know. I didn't really watch any of those Adam Sandler movies. I don't know. Any of those damn darn Adam Sandler films. So we have a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So why don't we look at some of those questions and answer them? Because that's what we do here on the Arcane Lounge podcast. After release of Tosh's Cauldron of Everything and every correction or proposal for classes and races it contains, would you say it's more D&D 5.5e than 5e? Elaborate. No. I think everybody forgets that 3.5 was 3.5 because they literally reprinted the book and they changed like a few minor things, but it was enough to kind of warrant another. Like, I don't know. Okay, I sort of get it. I think them re-releasing third edition and making it 3.5 was not necessarily a mistake, but something that they don't want to do again because I think it was Wizards. They had just got D&D and they wanted to make third edition and they wanted to make it really good and they wanted people to like it. And so when they released the first version and it had some problems, they re-released it under 3.5 to kind of save the brand a little bit, which is something I don't think they'll ever do again because I think that 5th edition has already been updated multiple times. There's a bunch of reprints and they didn't make 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, all of that kind of stuff. So I don't think Tasha's makes it like a brand new edition or anything. But I don't know. The wording there between 5.5 is strange. Because 4th edition also had a bunch of books that went alongside it that added things.
Do you think that they aren't going, oh, this is 5.5 or 6th edition, and they're just releasing things that would technically be 5.5?
I don't think Wizards has any intention to release a 6th edition.
I don't think they do either.
Soon, because 5th edition is the way it is. Everybody likes it. I
think this is their like 3.5 or 5.5, but they're not branding it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So because there's a bunch of changes.
Yeah, they're allowing people to take the change without saying this is the change.
Yes, but the cool part is that technically I guess 3.5 was also optional, but it is also optional.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody's going to well, no. I was going to say, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't lambast you if you didn't want to use Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, but because it's kind of the new book with new stuff and it has new rules, and a lot of those rules add a lot of, what's the word? Flavor and not that. My brain does not want to. Accessibility, I guess. I don't know, because it has a lot of new stuff that a lot of people are going to want.
Yeah.
Whatever that word for that is.
Right.
And because it's adding a lot of that, I think players are going to want it. So if you're a DM that is like, I don't use Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, players are going to be like, oh, okay. So I suppose then, yes, it is basically like a 5.5. But so was Xanathar's Guide. And so was a lot of the other books. And I feel like it's like 5.7.5 or something like that now, but that's a weird way to measure it, know. So I think Wizards should have just reprinted 3rd edition and been like, we just updated it because I think they only altered like a very minor few things with 3.5.
Did you ever play like any of 4th edition?
No.
Do you know anything about 4th edition? Because
I know a lot about it.
from like I've been reading 3.5 books recently because there's some very interesting stuff in 3.5.
Yeah.
And I just want to know what like the jump was from.
Okay, I don't want to be this person that's like, oh, I know so much about 4th edition. I basically know everything about it, but I've never literally played it before.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I'm saying, don't necessarily take it as like full merit because I literally haven't played 4th edition. Maybe it's super fun or something like that. To me, on the surface, from what I've read and what I've done research about, and I've actually watched people play it too, it to me isn't my kind of D&D. It seems fun. It's not like awful. The thing I don't like about it is that it has like 40 different, not 40, that's an exaggeration, but like a lot of different source books that come along that add things to the game. That apparently a lot of players need and want and all that kind of stuff. And 5th edition is sort of starting to look like that, but right now it only has 2 extra books, while 4th edition had like a lot. And to me, I'm like, that's annoying to have all these books that you need in order to play. And I was like, that'd just be frustrating. Mm-hmm. But you asked what the difference is.
Yeah, because I feel like 3.5 is like so many numbers and stats and everything is like you have so many skills and all that stuff, and then with 5th edition they really simplified it. So I want to know if like
4th edition simplified it a lot from 3.5.
Okay.
It's made from what I understand from the game design purposes, and once again I'm not an expert, but from what I understand, it is they kind of. It's 4th edition is more like 5th edition to me than 3.5. The character sheet is a lot simpler, and you have daily powers, and you also have like you have powers basically, and you can use them daily. I think some of them you can use every short rest, whatever that is in that game. And when you level up, you get stuff, but you also get to pick like abilities that you get. So it was really customizable because you got to pick a bunch of like. Basically, if you were a rogue, you had sneak attack, but then sometimes when you leveled up, you got to pick like a new ability that you got. In 5th edition, you just get the ability. In 4th edition, there were like 5 different kinds that you could pick from. One would be like a blade flurry, and another would be like throwing daggers or things like that. And so in 4th edition, I guess you could just like pick up a weapon and throw it, but the rogue had the cool throwing daggers ability, and it did its own thing, and everybody basically had that. Spells were also under that as well. And to me, when I look at it, what it looks like to me is that Wizards of the Coast saw the success in World of Warcraft, and they wanted to build it more like that kind of game where you have all of these like abilities and you build your character however you want, and it's more based on fighting and the tactics and like Warhammer rather than what D&D kind of is, which is a role-playing game. Right. So that's why a lot of people don't like it. I don't think it's awful. I think it could be fun. I think a lot of people think it's stupid and dumb because it's labeled Dungeons and Dragons, and it's not necessarily Dungeons and Dragons. But then again, I've never played it, and I have a lot of things to say about it, which is strange and dumb. Basically, I'm just a big dumbass.
I don't think that's true. I think you just got a lot to say. Thank you for answering my question.
That was the 4th edition hour there. So I did a lot of research for it when I was doing the Rogue Lore video, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I spent like, I got to the section where I talk about 4th edition. And I was like, I just found out I know nothing about 4th edition. So I watched a ton of stuff on it. And I was like, I think I understand this sort of. Yeah. There's a bunch of rules in 4th edition that I really like Bloodied. That's from 4th edition. Minions. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
It's so if you want your players to fight hordes of enemies, instead of having 40 skeletons that have their 13 hit points. And all that
they
stuff,
have one, right?
They have 1 hit point.
Yeah, I do know what that is.
And so, yeah, and I think that's a great rule. Because,
you told me to use that in my my game with the kids that I was running. Because I was like, there's a swarm in this, but I feel like they'll die.
Yep. Warlocks also came from 4th edition, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And, right? I think I'm right.
I don't think they were in 3.5.
No, I'm pretty sure... They may have been like a prestige class. I don't know. I'm just sitting here pretending to know things.
One of the books that I was reading has a bunch of like subclasses that I feel like would fit really well with Warlock, but they weren't any for that. So I feel like if Warlock wasn't 3.5, they would have been in that
There was
book.
also
I could also be
another
wrong.
class in 4th edition that wasn't in 5e. It's called like the War Priest, I think is what it was.
I don't know.
Oh, everybody is like,
I
Jacob,
played-
you idiot! That's not right.
I came into playing D&D with this group when they were starting to move away from 3.5 and to go into 5th edition. I think Jordan Roberts was like, you guys should play 5e. And we were like, no, we're going to play 3.5 forever. And then you were like, we'll give it a chance. And then we started playing 5e. And I was like, I don't want to switch. I just learned how to play this game. And it's going to be too hard. And then it was a lot easier. And we've played it ever since.
Yeah. What I'm going to find out what this damn class was called because it's going to make me mad. It wasn't a war priest. It was something else. A warlord.
Oh.
That's what it's called. And I'm not going to say anything about it because honestly, I don't know anything about what a warlord is.
Warlord, huh?
Yeah. But anyways, good question. Thank you, Roki. Schmobo asks, sorry if this has been asked before, but who was both of your first characters and how did their stories end? Okay.
Mine.
Sorry, I just thought a lot. Well, yeah.
Mine was Sphinx.
Dang, you so lucky.
Yeah.
Getting Sphinx as your first character.
She is a level 20 rogue. She's an assassin. She
was level 20 when you first played her, though.
No. She's level 1. I played her 2 level 20. Or no, maybe I think we might have started like level higher than that, but then that was during 3.5 times, and then we all kind of ported our characters over to 5th edition. I don't know what level I started at.
No, babe. When you wanted to play D&D, we just went level 20 first game.
Yes,
and it's 3.5.
And it's 3.5. I don't think I started at level 1. I think I might have started at level 5, and then when we jumped over to 5th edition, we were probably a little bit higher than that. I don't know what we did with that though.
Yeah.
But I played her until level 20. And she's still alive. She's still in Jacob's world, kicking. She is a cult leader, and she's immortal.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
That's, yep. Mm-hmm.
Any bad thing that's ever happened is probably, especially to Colton's characters, has been caused by Sphinx Bastion.
Yeah. Sphinx is a menace to society.
Yeah. She has too much power and probably deserves to die, but...
Also, almost all of your characters are sort of related to her.
Yeah, almost all of them. There's a few out there that aren't related to...
You want to elaborate more on that?
Well, there are a few people who might be related to Sphinx Bastion in some way, but she's also known to take children, adopt children, I should say. She doesn't take them.
Yeah.
She just goes, hey, I have this house over here, and I can, give you a nice place to stay.
Who were some of these children? I'm sorry, the Discord put me up to this.
Oh, okay. Well, she had another one of my characters, my second character ever, Benji, had a son. His name's Eugene. They're related. They're all related. Lander Bastion was adopted by Sphinx Bastion. And his son, Vincent, is in Sunder. I played him also to level 18 from level 1. Or level 2. I think we started that game at level 2. So they're all related. I think that's it.
You started that game at level 1.
No. I remember I had my subclass.
When we started that session 0?
Oh, yeah. Technically, the session 0s that were never uploaded, we were level 1.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. By all technicality, my first character was a human ranger by the name of... I named him after the guy in Skyrim. He was like the companion I used. His name was Faendal. I was a human ranger. I played with Logan, who was also a human ranger, and we killed a bunch of orcs and took their testicles. And that was the first time I ever played D&D. I was 15, I think. Yep.
Where is he now?
Oh, probably. I don't fucking know. He doesn't exist.
Is it just a one shot?
My real first character, I like to say, like that I actually played more than one game to learn what D&D was I played a cleric in Marshall's game named... Oh, I can't remember his name. It was a dwarf cleric. The only memorable thing I can remember is that I was in a fireball at one point and I nearly died, but I got revived and my beard burned off because of it, and it was really sad. Yeah. So, those were some of the times I remember playing D&D for the first time. Yeah. It was good. It was fun. I miss being such a pretentious thing to say. I miss not knowing everything about D&D.
Yeah.
But really, like, I liked playing D&D back when it was like really mysterious and like I didn't know anything. And Marshall would be like, an Eder cap, and I'm like, what the fuck is an Eder cap? You know, it's. Hello.
Hello.
We have to reset the camera because it constantly likes to turn off. So that's why there's a lot of cuts in this podcast sometimes. Yep. So, want to do another question?
I do want to do another question.
Golly gee, thanks so much, you guys, for throwing all these questions at us. I'm just reading through these real quick. I'm just going in blind. Ruben Anthony asks, which warlock invocation do you guys love, hate the most?
Those are like the abilities you get, right?
Yeah, those are the little invocations you get. I think the
Devil
one
Sight.
that when you take it, you... I was trying to think of something funny, but I can't. I just don't like any of the ones that upgrade your Eldritch Blast. That's a personal thing. I think all the invocations are really good.
Jacob's like, I play Warlock and I don't take Eldritch Blast.
It's dumb. It's the most boring thing. I think it's boring just because it makes every Warlock kind of feel the same. Even though rogues always have sneak attack. But I like to be a little more creative when I play a Warlock, and I go, you know what? I'm not going to take Eldritch Blast, so basically I'm better than everybody.
Good for you.
Yeah. I want my trophy. My didn't you take Eldritch Blast trophy.
You don't get one. There's no trophy for that.
Also, Eldritch Blast is evil and mean to me, and I can never hit with it. Like when I played Cat in Tesseract, that was a bad time, so I vowed never to take it ever again. I'm a paladin, vow of the not Eldritch Blast. Oath of the no Eldritch Blast.
I like Devil Sight. Lets you see in
Magical Darkness. Yeah, that's a good one.
There's also one that I took in Salt Marsh. I think it basically encases you in like ice for a round. Oh, there's a cat.
The Levistus.
Yeah, that one.
That one is the Tomb of Levistus. That's
yeah, and you're like,
it's so good.
Yeah, I don't think you can take damage unless it's fire. You're vulnerable to fire or something like that.
But you can't do anything either.
Yeah,
you're
for
stuck,
like
which
a round,
is cool because that's like Levistus. That's like, you know, he's a devil that's stuck in a block of ice in the lair of hell. It's so cool. Yeah. Why are the devils so damn cool?
Demons are better.
No, they're not. Oh, the demons are really cool, but man, there's some about them. I think Levistus is really interesting. Just because he has so much stuff that he can do, but he's literally trapped in ice.
I was actually talking about this with Grace. About how she really likes the devils because of how like lawful they are, but the demons are just so chaotic. It's very, very great. I love it. Yeah,
they're both real cool. You know? Yeah, D&D's got some cool lore, which is pretty neat. But I think my favorite, I like all the names for the invocations. Like there's one that's like, it's called Thief of Five Fates, but it just lets you cast Bane, which is, you know, that's cool. But it's I like the names of all of them. They're really great. But I think I have to agree. I think my favorite is the Tomb of Levistus. That's really neat. Zav, creator of D&D Waifus, asks, in your plural humble opinions, is multi-classing really only fun or good option in campaigns where players are either or will be high level?
I think it's better to multi-class if you know that the campaign is going to last for a long time. Because if you split yourself, kind of sucks if you don't get very much from either class.
Yeah, so, I always think multi-classing is like, if it fits your character, then just do it. Like, yeah, I think multi-classing is really well balanced too in 5th edition. You get more spell slots. You still get the same kind of spell slots that you would get with any other classes, but I think at the same time, it does weaken you a little bit because you're trying to get the best of both, but I think that's still fair. So I don't really think that there's a balance issue when it comes to that. Like, you're not going to be weaker than everybody else. You may be a little bit.
Yeah. I think depending on what you multiclass into, you could be weaker. Because if you're going to, especially multiclass into two different things that need a higher stat, like charisma, and then you're also doing like dex or intelligence or something, you're going to have to split yourself that way.
From my experience, though, some people can get even more powerful by multiclassing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that it just really depends on what you take. And I think the best thing to take away from multiclassing, what I've always heard is like, or the way I think about it is, just do it if it makes sense for your character.
Yeah,
if your character should be a little bit barbarian, then just do it. I'll be like, oh, is everybody gonna be better than me? Probably, but that's not the point of the game.
I think Rosalie was one of the first characters that I multiclassed in, and I enjoyed it. It was kind of a story reason why she multiclassed. Like with Philip, it's like I made him multiclass because I thought it would be a neat character idea, but with Rosalie, it was like the story kind of shaped it. So just go with what you want, as long as it makes sense.
I really like this. Yeah. Like, not only are you multiclassed, and in my opinion, the multiclass of Paladin Barbarian at this low of a level is kind of weakening you a little bit. Not only that, but you can't even control your rage, which I think is really interesting and such a I really like when players give themselves like these negatives that are like, oh, there's a reason why it's something that my character wants to overcome later, or it is a part of them, and I'm like, that's so interesting, that's really cool. So
I also let you choose what I multiclass into.
Yeah, that's fun. Tyler does that too. Tyler is like, if you think my character is going down a different path, then change my class. And I know for some people, they want control of their character, but I think that's fun, and it's interesting too, because as the player, you don't really know what's going to happen, but you've kind of just been playing the game how you want to play it, and your character's going down a certain path, like he did that with China and with Atlantica as well. So it was a good time. I think more often than not, more recently, because of how much we play, people multi-class, our players and friends like to multi-class more because it gives you more options. It kind of creates like a different character.
Yeah. And I think that with 5th edition, it's kind of hard to, if you have a specific thing for a character, it's hard to stick with one class. And sometimes story reasons, it is a lot easier to do what you want with your character if you do multi-class.
Yep.
Two Gnomes in a Trench Coat asks.
Oh, you were...
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your favorite monster / creature in D&D? Or which one do you think is the coolest and why?
That stat block of Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I agree. I'll have to agree.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. That's a hands down.
I recently read about bone drinkers, and they're very spooky, and I never want to fight them, but I think they're super cool.
You have been going through some old 3.5 supplement books.
I have.
And it's been pretty great. And I was like, I have the Monster Manual 3 from 3.5, and you're like, and you've been looking through it, and I'm like, there's so much cool monsters in there.
Yeah. You've pulled some from there for our streamed games. Like there's the flower thingies. What were those called?
I don't know.
It's like they're like tiny creatures, and they try to murder you with their spores and stuff.
Yep.
But bone drinkers, they like stealth, and then they attack you, and if they can succeed like a grapple check, they can bite you, and they do constitution damage, because that was a thing in 3rd and 3.5.
Yikes.
And probably other editions, because I don't know very much. But if they drained your constitution to 0, you die, and you are a bag of flesh because it sucks all of your bones out.
Back in the day when you could take damage to your constitution and to all your stats could take damage, it was rough.
Yeah.
You turn into what?
A sack of flesh.
Why didn't I process that when you said that? I was just like, oh yeah, damage. Hang on. Yeah. A sack of flesh.
Yeah.
They just take all your bones just...
Yeah, there's also a thing called like...
they just take your bones?
They suck your bones out. They're a bone drinker.
They suck them.
They suck them out. There's also a thing called like a death giant, and they have like an aura, and if you're in it, you have to make like a fortitude save of like 30, or you instantly die. Those
are supposed to be, I think in the thing in there it says like they can be in the Mournlands in Eberron.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about that book is it tells you where in like Faerun and Eberron each creature is. Like,
so cool.
Yeah, I think Bring it back. That's
also,
neat.
They also give tactics, and I know some people don't like that, but as a dungeon master, that helps me so much when I'm thinking about, like, how can I effectively use this monster? In the old books, they used to give, like, okay, this monster is really powerful, and they have a bunch of stuff they can do. So instead, just read this tactics area, and that's how you can best use them against your player. I get why they don't do that now, because they want the monsters to be more open and free.
But as, like, a new DM, I feel like that's really helpful.
So awesome.
And then when you're more experienced, you just go, well, this is over here now, because this is my world. I can do what I want.
So I really like the monster manuals for the old games, because they're cool. But I don't like the stat blocks. I like the stat blocks for 5th edition a lot more.
There's so much.
There's a lot.
Why?
It'd be like Fortitude 19.
Yeah.
What is this? What does this mean?
Plus 28, plus 19, plus 16, plus 12, plus 8 to hit. That's its multi-attack.
Spell resistance, yes. Okay. Yeah. It was like coding is like what it was, is what it looks like. And it's like, geez, it's ridiculous.
I like it though.
Olivia Bowerman asks, why you so far?
Why are you so far? Why did you leave us?
Olivia, if you're listening to this, why are you so far?
Why are you so far? Get your ass back over here.
Basically, that's it. That's the response, basically. Nate asks, how do you go about writing your character's background? I know it's a big question, but I mean, like, how do you write, and how in detail do you go? How much do you write, and how in detail do you go? I'm sorry, I can't read.
It's all right. You were homeschooled. It's all right. That's a joke. Your mother did a very good job teaching you. Thanks. Did they say background or backstory?
Background. I think both.
Both.
Yeah.
Background. Normally, just take one from the book because that's the easiest. I'll add flaws in that I think are more fitting, or personality traits. But bonds and ideals, I'm just like, take that one. That one's fine. Yeah. Backstories. I have been told I do too much. By Jacob specifically. I like to either make my characters related to each other, and it is one big plot line that has been going for the 5 years that I've been playing D&D, or there's just too much, and I like to hold on to it too much and not change it.
I think that's fine. I don't think it's too much. I really like the stories that you come up with for your characters. I think what you do that's kind of shitty and sucks, and you're just a terrible person. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Is it has to make sense in your head. If it doesn't make sense to you, and if it's like the way I write and do my things is I kind of go, okay, well, you can make this up. It doesn't matter. So this can exist. This can be here now. And you're like, nope, doesn't make sense for that to be there. If my character is the cousin of this character having a marriage over here, and then they live in this place, in this new area that exists, doesn't make sense. It would have to be somewhere over here. And it's like, okay, I guess so. And I guess being consistent is nice, especially for you, because then you understand it. But I'm never consistent with what I'm writing. I try to not make plot holes.
Because I will find them and punch them.
But I like to make things up.
Yeah, I know you do. Fun. We've had quite a few arguments about why that doesn't make sense, and you suck now. And then we make it make sense.
Could you do this to me?
I remember before we lived together, you would like drive me home, and I lived probably like 45 minutes away from you, and we would go in the car, we would get like dinner together, and then we would on the drive home, we would talk about like, especially Immortals time, because that's when I wasn't living with you, why things weren't making sense. Are you listening to me at all? Okay. Why things don't make sense. And because in Immortals, you'd be like, this is just happening now. And I'm like, that can't happen. That's not how things work.
Just to let everybody know, I cannot read and hear at the same time.
That's why I called him out. Because if he's
sometimes I'm reading and I'm just like, what did you just say? Yeah. No, I was listening. I can hear you.
Yeah. Did you answer the question?
No, I didn't. Yeah. Backstory for character? Yeah. Well, I don't play that much, so
that's true.
I have a rough time coming up with character ideas. It takes a lot of I am not the kind of person to have like 20 characters sitting in their D&D Beyond that are just waiting to get played. I'm normally like, oh, who do I make? I guess I'll make Jace again, but I normally get my inspiration by either being on like Pinterest, because I'm a very visual person, but also looking at new subclasses and things like that always get my mind going, and I go, oh, that'd be a character that could go here. Like, it's so basic, but I kind of come up with my character backstories by just kind of looking at the player's handbook and going, that looks cool. What could I do with this? Oh, I could make a character that does... And then when I go to my background, I look at all the traits and stuff, and I use that as like a jump board for my characters. And like, I'll pick an ideal, but I won't like hardcore stick to it the entire time. It'll kind of be like a basis for like who this person is. And then I like to go into the Xanathar's Guide, life story events and stuff, and go through there. And then, yeah, there we go. And then I kind of come up with something at the end, and I'm like, this is a character, right?
Yeah. One thing that I like to do, it's not really to do with this, but at the end of each like arc in our games, I like to go through and change like my personality traits, my ideals, my bond and flaw.
That's cool.
Because if they've changed, I think that it should change, and it should show. Yeah,
characters change.
Characters change.
And events that happen in the campaign should totally, change your character in certain ways. And that can even go into multi-classing or maybe changing your flaw or, things like that.
Flaw change. I'm evil now.
I used to have a problem with people who insulted me. Now I'm fucking evil. Yeah. Oh, man. You guys sent us a lot of questions, so appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll share more about Immortals in the future, says Bruh?
No.
Why not?
Too much, too bad.
Dark times.
Bad.
Dark times. Too bad? It was the dark times. It was just kind of our home game that we played.
Yeah. I would really like to take all of your old documents and basically make a plot line of everything that happened in Immortals, but that game was long and a lot happened, and it connects with Ember Warriors, so I'd have to do all of that, which we played even more of, and these dark times.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys want to know about it.
Yeah, why?
Is it like, it's mysterious?
I think that's what it is. It's in the same world as like Sunder and Evenfall is, even though we're nowhere near where Immortals took place. We're months away from that. But I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, it was a fun game when we played it, but it was like right when we were getting into D&D and all that kind of stuff, so it was probably really bad, but it was fun for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, that's why I wanted to stream, was because Immortals was so fun, and I was like, I want to put this somewhere. This is cool, guys. And everybody was down. So that's good. Nonat1s asks, how do you feel about the Tolkien standard of fantasy that is so predominant in D&D? Do you think it's a great thing, or that it limits creativity at times? I think that the Tolkien standard, which I believe is like, what, dwarves, elves, in a magical fantasy world that isn't our world, is I think it's I even think Tolkien's world is not necessarily what every D&D world is, because D&D also has Faerun, which I guess takes a lot from Tolkien. Most fantasy takes from Tolkien, but I think there are a lot of campaign settings out there that kind of move away from it and try to shift their own and do their own stuff. A big example being Eberron. But even then, like, Middle Earth has its own campaign setting, like its own role-playing system it's 5th edition, but I think Tolkien alone is more different than what most people come up with. And the way I kind of view it is, whenever I play in somebody's game or their campaign, even if it's Faerun, I just imagine it's a completely different world that has its own thing. Because they may change stuff, and that's this person's world of that thing now. I'm not constantly like, oh yeah, this is just this is Tolkien's thing again, because I feel like nobody really even runs it like how Tolkien did it in his game. It's just like the basic stuff. Sure, I guess he came up with all of it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, never have I gone like, oh, this isn't like something from Lord of the Rings, so it's bad.
Isn't that weird? I feel like more often than not, we would make references to Lord of the Rings, but if anything, like, we don't. Like, I don't think we've ever played in a game where there was a insanely evil magic item that we needed to go destroy by traveling across the world and getting there, and there was a war going on at the same time and all that kind of stuff. Like that's why I like Lord of the Rings so much, is because I feel like it's so unique in its own thing that it kind of stayed its own thing. But there have been a lot of not even like renditions, just ideas taken from it that became its own thing, which is really cool. Because if you look at any setting, it's not exactly like Lord of the Rings or Tolkien or anything like that. So I don't think that even answered the question at all. That's just what I think about Tolkien standard and all that kind of stuff.
I think it only limits your game if you let it. So don't just go, we are hobbits and we go and we take this ring to Mount Doom and we throw it in.
Yeah, don't look at Lord of the Rings and be like, this is how my game's supposed to be. It's like, you can do your own thing.
You can do whatever you want.
A lot of people know that.
Yeah. I think everyone should know that.
Monchi the Goblin asks, how would you deal with your PC's brutally murdering? How would you deal with your PC's brutally murdering one of your plot hooks before he could say anything?
They don't get to know that now.
Yeah, basically. That's they decided to brutally murder one of your plot hooks. I mean, that's all them. And they just destroyed that information. But I get if you're a DM and you're like, I really wanted that to be a part of the game, and now it's all gone. You could make a new character with the same plot hook, which could work out. But my question would be, why did they brutally murder this plot hook? Did you do something to anger them? Like, because it might be your fault. Just a little tiny bit. Might be just a little baby bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that guy was really evil, and the players were like, we want to kill him now, or you gave him something that was like of insane value to the players, and they wanted to murder him to take that thing. Yeah.
It reminds me of, I'll bring her up every episode, Katarine from season 1 of Sunder, who was murdered.
Sunder are just like, man, this NPC really hurt you. It was like, no, it was like 2 years ago, and it didn't matter at all.
She knew about this meteor with this Ichor ore that we wanted to know about. It was causing some ruckus in the world. We were like, we just need to know. And she was like, I'll tell you anything. And then one of our party members named Turk killed her. Yeah. But a few games before that, Katarine tried to kill Turk because he was just in her way.
Technically, though, that's a good example, but I don't think it's like a plot hook. That was more just a villain, you know?
Yeah, but she knew about the meteor. She knew what we wanted to know, and she was like, I'll tell you, but I'm going to keep this. There's nothing you can do about it. But like 2 seasons later, we learned more about the meteor from basically the Ichor creatures that were in them. So you took what she knew and just gave it to us later.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. It was from a different perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, what if in Tomb of Annihilation, when Syndra, is it Syndra? Yeah, Syndra is like, you gotta come to the island with me to get the stuff and stop the thing, and you guys just killed her. You know, that's like the plot hook. And it's like, well, now how do I get you to Chult? And that's why my question is, why did your players kill that person? Yeah. Because unless your players are insane, mean murder hobos, you should either A, talk to your players and be like, guys, can you please not kill every NPC you come across? Or B, give them a plot hook that plays into more of murdering.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would do if I was in that situation. If I was in that wacky, crazy situation where my players was killing every character they came across. I've actually never DM'd a game that was like, everybody's a murder hobo. You guys are like almost opposite murder hobos. You don't like killing people. Except for, I feel like Jordan gets some satisfaction about melting a guy's face off.
Yeah.
And I think I'm kind of a murder hobo
There were
player.
A few games in Immortals where I was like, this guy's gonna die. And then he did. And then I got the lesson of you can't just kill everything. Yeah. I got my legs burned off. One
time we ran a Halloween game years ago, and I dressed up as an important NPC in the game, and as soon as he got introduced, Logan murdered him.
Yeah.
And then after the game, I was like, so why'd you kill that guy? And he was like, oh, I just wanted to. And I was like, oh, you know that's who I dressed up as? And he was like, dude, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's okay. It's fine. I don't care. It was just funny. Falcaleb asks, what do you think of the dark alternate reality version of you is like?
I don't want to answer this question.
The dark alternate version of me has black hair, listens to My Chemical Romance, and has a gun. Like Shadow the Hedgehog for the PS2. We watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie the other... did we talk about this on the podcast? I don't think we did. I don't remember. If we did, I'm sorry. We watched Sonic the Hedgehog the other day, and because we hadn't seen it yet, and I was like, do you know how crazy people would go if they brought in Shadow? And she was like, Shadow? And I was like, did you know that Shadow had a gun?
No, what you had said was Shadow and his gun. And I was like, excuse me?
I'm Sonic, I'm Tails, and I'm Shadow. I'm here to fucking shoot people. It's like, Jesus Christ. Why did they make that game?
I also want to have black hair and a gun. I already listened to My Chemical Romance, so.
And I would make YouTube videos about
death.
Death. Like Ask a Mortician?
No. Like hers are informative and she's sweet and nice. Videos. Dude, that Fortnite song by that kid is it slaps so hard.
So much. I hate that fucking... In case nobody knows, there's this audio going around on TikTok where it's what's that Kanye song? I can't remember.
I don't know what it's called.
It is. We don't even know that. We just know the stupid Fortnite song, and it's just this kid, and he's like, #1 victory royale, yeah, Fortnite, we got to get down, and it's
it slaps so hard.
No, it does not. It's really bad, but you really like it.
I do.
So
I have never played Fortnite. I don't think I ever will play Fortnite, but it slaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I played Fortnite once.
I've never played
2 years ago, and I was like, that's cool. That's a game. I liked Apex Legends a lot. Colton and Tyler and I used to play that late night. It was good. And then we played a little bit of COD Warzone, and that was fun too, and then it just stopped.
You said COD Warzone, it just makes me think of fish. Fish, yeah.
It's you all play as fish in a big lake, and you have to kill each other.
It's the Finding Nemo characters?
With guns. The fish have guns.
Fish have guns.
In their mouths.
Gunfish.
And you have to swim around the pond, and what?
Open up. It's the United States. We have boats with guns. Gunboats.
It's a good video.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Golly gee, that was a lot of questions. So we were going to do I'm just looking at some of these questions. There's a lot of good ones in here, guys.
Yep.
Jeez. We were going to do genre jar today, but we do have some memes instead that we wanted to look at and save the genre jar for when we have a guest.
Yes.
So
that it doesn't get empty.
I'm sorry for the audio listeners. I will try to explain those memes as best I can when we get around to them. But that'll be towards the end of the episode. And yeah, I think there's a couple more questions we could take, and then we could do that. I'm not going to reset the camera.
The camera's gonna die.
The camera is gonna get fucking killed right now.
Oh!
Can you cast Revivify on the camera real quick?
Oh, it's kind of far. I think you have to touch it, don't you?
Just 5 feet.
No. My toe magic doesn't work anymore. Ew, that's gross. I never want to talk about that ever again.
Toemancer.
Toemancy. I hate that.
Oh, you just cast all your spells with your toes. I'm gonna do that.
No.
That's my backup character for Adventures of Avnia. Is a toemancer.
Do you take people's toes?
I'm gonna be exclusively a cleric, so that when I heal you, I just have to be like,
please don't touch me with your foot. Ew. Farron's gonna leave the party.
When you wake up, you go down in combat and you wake up with just a foot in your face. It's like, don't worry, you're okay. Mario Sack asks, how do you like to try and evoke a feeling of intimidation or power to a player? Like, what do you have in mind when you try and make someone like Strahd scary to the party? Scary was the key word there, not power, because that's a different conversation right there. I made a video on XP Level 3 about how to scare your players and how to make games scary or make villains scary and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily remember everything that's in the video, but I think off the top of my head, what I can remember sort of is to make your villains really mysterious and have them show up, display their amount of power and how easily they could kill the players without killing them, and then just have them like stalk them and show up in weird places. And then maybe like the worst thing you could do is if you want if you want to make something immediately not scary in D&D to your players, just start combat with them. Because as soon as a bad guy is in combat, they get broken down into their actions and movement, and the players begin to learn their armor class, and all of the mystery is gone. Now they know that this thing has a stat block, and it is just a regular thing. But if you just, out of combat, have that thing occasionally show up, kill somebody, and leave, they're going to be real scared every time that that thing decides to show up here and there. I also think giving your scary monsters, like, rules, too. Like, it'll only show up if certain things happen. And then occasionally breaking that rule just to keep your players on edge is really great too. So kind of like movie rules, you know, don't show the monster immediately. Keep them in the dark, keep them mysterious, but their presence really needs to be there.
Like in Sunder, we constantly felt the presence of Zariel, but we very rarely encountered her. And when we did, we knew to be afraid of her, because when we did encounter her, she just showed up, smacked us around, and then left.
Yeah. Funnily enough, a good comparison with Strahd was in our Strahd game. The first time that you guys really like encountered him was when you're on Yester Hill after fighting all the druids, and you guys were really weak and tired, and Strahd showed up because that's what he does. And I was like, this will be a good time to introduce him a little bit. And you guys all hid because you didn't want to fight him. You'd heard he's scary, but you didn't really know for sure. And somebody, I think Seymour, failed their stealth check against him, and Ira took like a rock and threw it really far away to like draw his attention away. And instead of Strahd being like, "Oh, what was that over there?" he just casted a fireball. And we had just got done with Waterdeep Dragon Heist, so you guys knew the power of a fireball. And Strahd just, with a snap of his fingers, they're like, "Oh, it was nothing. It was maybe if you were behind that rock, you would have got it eviscerated, but it was so minor to him that it didn't matter." So, and I know that's not very like a vampire thing to cast, but I knew it was scary for you guys. It was personal. So, and I remember after that, everybody was like, "Oh God." And I was like, yeah, there we go. That's how you make Strahd scary.
That was another thing. We very rarely encountered Strahd because we knew how dangerous he was from that moment. And anytime we had to go into
get the bones and shit, you guys are just like,
I think we went into Castle Ravenloft twice before we went to like defeat him, and both times it was like, all right, we get in here, we're very quiet.
Well, Angela was a guest for our first one, and
no, that was the second time we'd gone in there, was with Angela.
And she was like, "Can I die at the end?" And I was like, "Yes." And so
but we didn't know that.
No, you guys didn't know that. We kept it a secret. And then at the end of that game, I had Strahd just fucking kill her. You guys were like, "Oh no."
We did the random encounter, and we rolled Strahd, and he just showed up.
You guys did actually roll Strahd. That wasn't like I put that in there. Yeah. I was just going to find a way to kill Angela, and I was like, Strahd killing her would be so great. The party will be so sad and hopeless. Yay! D&D!
And I think we didn't even get what we went in there for, because Angela's character died, and we're like, we're getting the fuck out of here. I think we went in there for her, and we're like, well, she's dead. Let's leave.
Let's bounce. Bye, Strahd. See you later, buddy. All right. Well, those are some good questions. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate all the questions there. We'll have more next week.
And a guest.
I know we didn't get all of them, but you know, if your question didn't get answered, don't feel bad rethrowing them back out there. We might get to them at some point. So, all right, guys, it's time for the memes. It's time to look at some videos that Spencer and I found throughout the week that we wanted to show each other and watch on the podcast, which we hope you enjoy too. If you're choosing to listen on audio, I will try to relay them as best as I can. But this video, I thought you would like, babe. I sent it to Jack, and he thought it was pretty funny. Is Kirby enjoys macaroni with the chicken strips.
Macaroni with the chicken strips.
Any of those memes with like people just floating away the reverb it gets me. I think that's the same kid on TikTok who did the
Chuck E. Cheese
chocolate chips with the Chuck E. Cheese plate. Oh, wait. Milk.
Yeah.
God damn it. Spencer and I, after we heard that one, we're like walking around the house just like, milk. Just saying that.
Ooh, super heat.
All right. This is you just watch this one. It's a seal.
Look at him go.
Yep. He's waddling along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Looks at the camera.
Oh.
And he blasts some ass.
It's the wiggle. It helped it get out.
He was like, ugh.
Yeah.
He just looked over and
It's like with babies when you bicycle their legs and then they fart.
What?
Yeah.
You can just make babies fart?
Yeah, because they're if they can get gas in their stomach from like drinking from a bottle, and they're so small they can't get the gas out, and they get like
just run up to random babies and just
you like
just run away.
You kind of go like this with their legs, and then you push their legs up, and it helps them fart.
You're pushing your baby like in the mall or something. Yeah. Some guy runs over to you and just
that's terrifying.
What are you doing? Baby just he's the master baby bicycle farter.
Yeah.
And then just runs away, and your baby is like super relieved. So he's kind of a hero, but also a terrible person because he grabbed your baby's legs.
No.
All right, what the hell is this, babe?
Let's see. Oh,
come on, get a little bigger here. All right. This is Shrek, obviously.
Obviously.
If I can.
Oh.
Man, I miss this movie. Adam Driver.
Yes. He's joined them for dinner.
He's dining.
Yes.
Do you know how awesome of a movie that would be, though? If they just made the next Shrek and Adam Driver he's designated character. It's just him in the movie.
He's not animated?
Yeah, he's just there.
He could be like Lord Farquaad in like a live action.
Oh, yeah, a really tall Lord Farquaad.
They can make him small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like in the first Captain America when they make like Chris Evans like kneel on crates and stuff, so he looks small, but he's actually a giant.
But what if they imagine Lord Farquaad with Adam Driver's face? Oh. Shrek, I'm gonna get Fiona. Wait. I will show you the dark side. That's what he sounds like. We were talking about my sister Emma.
She is in love with
Adam She's Driver. Not in love. She's obsessed with Adam Driver. I don't get it. My favorite thing Adam Driver ever did was Marriage Story, but not the movie. Just the meme where he's like this and he hits the wall. That's my favorite thing.
Every day I wake up.
Every day I wake up. That's it. All right.
Okay, this one. Oh.
Who seems to have it all. Intelligent, British, not to mention he's tall. And when he puts on this outfit, I can't help but agree. He's the most attractive man I've ever seen. It's Peppa Pig's dad wearing giant nipple tassels.
Look at him.
He stands at 14 feet tall and his tassels are bedazzled. And when he shakes him, I say I can't look away. Doesn't matter if you see me or taken. Your girl wants Peppa Pig's dad wearing giant nipple tassels.
Peppa Pig's dad wearing giant nipple tassels. She made a whole song for this.
Yeah, it's Daddy Pig.
Daddy Pig, Peppa Pig's dad wearing bedazzled nipple tassels.
Yeah.
People on TikTok are
a different
dedicated.
Breed.
They're a different breed. They're dedicated to make these incredible things I wish I had never seen that will live in my brain for forever now.
You're welcome.
I'll go lay down to go to sleep at night and I'll just see those tassels dangling in the wind.
Yeah.
That are also bedazzled.
Mm-hmm. Daddy Pig.
Is Peppa Pig like a newer kids show? Is it like country specific? Because I know Peppa Pig is like British.
I feel like it's been a thing for a while, but I think it.
Like that we're like, yes, Peppa Pig's dad's nipple tassels. Anyways, let's talk about this.
I feel like it's been a thing for a long time, but when I first started babysitting kids, I think that's when it got kind of popular. So 5 or 6 years ago, I think that's when it got popular here, or at least with like the group of kids that I was
know
watching.
nothing about it. I've just seen memes about it.
Daddy Pig and Mommy Pig and Peppa Pig and Georgie, I think is his name.
Oh, okay.
George or Georgie. And
let's get into the Peppa Pig lore hour.
And they live in like a little town, and there's other animals that are like characters. And there's also...
Is it just a meme because it's a kid show, or is it like, is there something about it that like...
I don't know. There's a lot of Peppa Pig memes, and I don't really know why. The show's cute. I like it, but...
Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good. So thanks for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Anything for you?
Yeah. Well, guys, we are trying to get better at this whole podcast thing. I know we're pretty bad at it, but really appreciate you guys listening and commenting and watching on Spotify too. There's a bunch of people watching on Spotify, which is listening on Spotify. So if you're listening to Spotify right now, we just gave you some little kisses in your ears. Mm-hmm. Not on them, in them. Directly onto your ears.
We shrunk down like...
And we ran in there through a tunnel. We're like, where is it? And then we saw the giant eardrum right there. And I just flung myself forward and landed lips first on your eardrum. And gave him a little kiss. So thank you, Spotify listeners. Really appreciate you, I guess.
Yeah.
So, thanks for bearing with us, guys. Next week, we will have another guest.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, unless we'll just be sitting here looking at memes again, I guess. It might just be the two of us.
We did kind of run out of friends, so...
we only have 3 friends. Steve Buscemi, do you want to be on the podcast?
That'd be sick.